It's another edition of Ask Five, and we are going to talk to an amazing team leader and real estate agent, Azim Jessa, today.
So join us at the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
This is the Wandering But Not Lost WBNL Podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. This is episode 230. You can find all of our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Jan O'Brien, we're back to Ask Five. You know, Azim, look, give us a little bit your feedback. And, as Jan O'Brien always likes to say, she's been everyone's broker.
No, not really.
Well,
I have run into a lot of folks, especially when I'm training, that are like, Jan, I started with you 20 years ago or 15 years ago. And I'm like, remind me what your name is. But I'll never forget this guy's name, because Azim is really awesome. And I've watched his trajectory when he came in new, and we're going to get him to tell us a little bit about his story and where he's coming and how I'm excited to talk to him about how he manages his team and works with his team and gives back. He's just telling me a little bit about some stuff that he was doing. So let's bring him in and we will talk to Mr. And he's a Golden Knights fan, and we love our Golden Knights here in Las Vegas. So welcome to our podcast, Azim, and thanks for taking the time. I know how busy you are, but let's jump in and just tell our audience a little bit about your backstory, how you got in the real estate business, and where it's led you to where you are today about 14 years later.
Awesome. Well, first of all, both of you, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this. Episode 230, that's awesome. You see so many podcasts that go to episode 8 and people are like, this is too hard. So good job on your commitment and efforts and just, supporting this industry and whatnot. So yeah, let me tell you a little bit. I'm originally from Vancouver, Canada. I was born, just outside of Vancouver. I moved to Las Vegas when I was 19 years old. I used to work for an internet company that did travel and tourism, 3D internet mapping before Google Earth.
Wow.
But it was still like dial-up internet at the time. And so can you imagine trying to run Google Earth off dial-up and CDs, right? It just clearly didn't work. And when the dot-com bubble burst, we couldn't survive. But, I met my wife 2 weeks after I moved to Vegas, though. So, if there was I'm a believer, and I'm like, why did God bring me here? And that is 100% why I met Sarah 2 weeks after I moved here, and we've been married 18 years, together for 23.
Wonderful.
My dog might run in here. The pool guy's here, so just so you know. So,
all good.
And so, yeah, that's how I ended up in Vegas. I have a background in retail, worked at Gap and Banana Republic, was a general manager of the Gap. My wife was started when there was only 8 Starbucks stores in Vegas as a Starbucks barista. Wow. And she sold new homes before that, then jumped into Starbucks, worked her way up to district manager when there was 130 or 140 stores. And then when we had our first child, she was like, I cannot do this corporate 60-hour-a-week, lifestyle anymore. And she's like, I'm going to get back into real estate. So that was about 2000. And our daughter was born in 2006. So right as things were starting to turn south, if those of you who've been in the real estate industry long enough know. And she just was doing short sale after short sale after short sale. And she got so busy. She's like, you need to quit your job and come work with me.
Wow.
So I did. I quit my job and started working with her and did short sales for the first 4 or 5 years of my real estate career. We kind of joked like one of these days I'm actually going to have to talk to a real person, right? Instead of just, banks and asset managers and these folks, right, that are working the short sale lines. And so that's kind of my beginning of my history.
When did you start adding more folks to the team? I mean, talk about trial by fire. This is really a testament to why you're so good at what you guys do, because you made it work in a tough time. Short sales were not for everybody, right?
I'm a glutton for punishment. I used to umpire Division I college baseball. So I like to get yelled at and have all sorts of extra stress and pressure on weekends. And so I was traveling quite a bit, right? From mid to end of February through, the end of May. I was on the road, right? 3 weekends a month, traveling, working baseball games for different conferences here in the West. And, but obviously we were busy enough that I needed someone to help with showings, right? We'd leave, Thursday night or Friday morning and come home Sunday. So, there's half the week, right? And then with our kids at that point now, and my poor wife was a single mother on weekends and doing, handling both of our business. And it was just obviously way too much for one person to carry. And so we brought on some people. By this point, we were at Urban Nest, and we brought on some people one person to come help us on weekends and showings, and it was a huge help and benefit. A few of our friends from church were like, "Oh, you're hiring people? Like, we want to come work with you." And I'm like, "Well, no, hold on. We're not trying to have a team. I just needed,
showing agent."
But then my wife was like, "No, they're great people. They work hard. Like, let's work with them." And from one person turned into 5, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, babe, we are not set up for this." And her line was, "Listen, if God keeps giving them to us, we got to keep taking them." So we brought on a team, and started just learning about systems. I'm a Buffini guy, coached through Buffini, and really leaned into my coaches, like, "Guys, I need some help here. I was not expecting this." And we worked on setting up some systems and stuff, and
great.
Here we are today.
How many folks are on the team now?
I have 4 other agents plus me, so 5 actively selling, and then a full-time assistant.
Beautiful. And have people come and gone, or do you have people that have lasted with you for a bit?
We have, let's see, I think one essentially from the beginning, and then a couple other people have rotated in and out. There's not a lot of high turnover. It's generally, change or something that's happened. A couple people left the business, went back into their previous careers when, healthcare and whatnot. And then a couple of them, just when they got pregnant, had kids, and then they, had to cut down some of their commitment to real estate. And now that their kids are older, they're back in, but they're doing great on their own, and we're happy for them. It's awesome. So.
And honestly, it feels like you just developed it happened by I'm not actively doing it. It's like you attracted it, and it's more of a family oriented sort of, we're an extended family.
Yeah, absolutely. I never,
that's what I always feel about your team.
Yeah, I never envisioned having one of those mega teams or things like that. And to this day, I still don't. We work 100% by referral. We don't, buy any leads. We don't do online lead gen. So, really, it's more of a coaching model. I would kind of describe it.
I was just going to ask you to describe it, because is it more like you're the team leader, but does everybody have their own business? Are you helping them? Tell us a little bit more about the structure of the team. Everybody's absolutely managing their own database, and you just do things together.
Yeah. So everyone does have their own database, right? Because we work by referral, right? Our spheres don't overlap, right? Or they might a little bit, but there's no competition. Even though we all go to a church, we go to a pretty large church, and so our sphere overlap, or doesn't really overlap too much. We all have our own friends, our own kids are different ages. So it's really just about, developing and strengthening those relationships. We really talk about investing in people, not in lead gen and marketing and stuff, right? Agents, for example, we don't have all our listings under one name. Everyone does everything under their own name.
Love it.
Yeah. It's really about them that way. If they want to move on and go, they're already set up to move on, right? I always tell them, I'm not trying to get rich off of you guys. We're doing fine on our own, and, we're just here to support and love on you and help you get, a little bit better if we can.
And that's the value proposition, right? I'm assuming that you have the assistants, so everybody's helping. That's what you provide to the team members besides yourself and your leadership and coaching. Is it that? Can you talk a little bit more about what that looks like? Is it systems? Is it CRM? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so 100% systems, right? Everyone uses the Buffini CRM. They all pay for it on their own. It's $20 a month.
Yeah,
and it's
referral maker.
If you guys have ever used it, it's like, hey, call these 5 people today. Send these 5 notes. I'm like, oh, well, that's not that hard. I can do that, right? I don't have to overthink it. We definitely, we have a one-on-one a team meeting every Tuesday, and then we do bi-weekly one-on-ones with each of them. So essentially, they do 2 coaching sessions a month. And obviously, I'm in the office all the time. They can call me anytime. I don't ever, it's not like, hey, wait till next Tuesday to ask your questions. Just, it's almost like having a mini broker. I'm certainly not a broker, right? I have my broker sales license, but it's
don't do that.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, stay where you're at. That's why I'm over where we're saying.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I had to get our broker involved in a transaction for probably the first time in my life that I'm like, I need some help. This person I'm struggling working with. And so, but yeah, I can't imagine getting, 2 of those a day. That would make me crazy.
Yeah, totally. But you're doing it. And that's exactly what I've morphed to be honest, over the years. Matt knows I've tried it all. I've been a broker. I've done all that. And now I'm kind of, the team we have, Cosmo and I have, is exactly what you're doing. It's literally some seasoned agents. We support them the way we support them, and we're there for them. And it's a coaching model, which I love it. And that's the whole point. Teams do not have to all be the same.
Right.
A team can be whatever you want it to be. it can be a lead generation team, and that's super powerful because you're providing what it is that you're naturally doing. I love it. Any questions, Matt, before we jump in? Because I think that
I just tell you, your positivity literally jumps off the screen and is freaking awesome. I gotta tell you, you've got that.
I mean, any of those, those personality profiles that people have taken, like something that constantly pops up for me is I always want to be part of something bigger, right? I'm for the cause, right? The greater good. Like, I use those.
What's the Buffini heritage thing? Is that, do you remember what that, it's probably that's one of the ones. Like the heritage
right? Yeah, I want to be part of something bigger. So I'm very involved in the association. I'm actually, like after I get off this call, I've got to, go through a bunch of legislative bills with a committee. And so like, this is my, so I just, I love giving back. And, we're obviously, I've told you a couple of times, involved in church quite a bit. Like, there's just, the world's so big and there's so many great people out there. And, you just want to meet people and love people, experience culture. And so, definitely this real estate affords me the opportunity to do that. So
this is why business people come to you, Azim. You're coming from the heart. You're real. It's not sales. It's awesome. And I'm loving chatting with you today.
No
right,
kidding. Matt? It's awesome.
All right, let's go in, because now we're going to get into a little bit. He's going to share a couple of his things we already know, and I was a coach by Buffini years ago too. By the way, I had a broker coach. Mm-hmm. That guy left and went and started his own, started working real estate. I love that guy, Mark, up in San Francisco. But that system is brilliant because it's all about taking care of your clients, right? Mm-hmm. So what's our first question?
First question, and this is interesting too, because you and your wife both came from customer service backgrounds, right? So you were already client oriented before you even got into the whole real estate business, right? So, and you did talk about this a little bit, how you are referral based only, what you work from referrals and you use the Buffini systems. But as far as cultivating your past clients and how you really keep them active and clients for life, I mean, what are some of the ideas that you have around that, or how do you coach your teammates to help to strengthen, I guess, your SOI and your database?
Yeah, so it is really just truly investing in people and relationships, right? It's caring for people, showing up when they're sick, dropping off a box of tissue and hand sanitizer, whatever the case may be. So I think our best idea for our SOI and past clients, like as the question reads on the screen there, is I would say it's our client parties. We love getting together with people. We love bread. The couple things that we do every year is we do a movie in the park. So I'm in the Southwest Las Vegas area. So there's a park right by Wet and Wild, or whatever it's called now. It's a county park, right? So you don't need reservations or anything. And they have this perfect rectangular patch of grass, right? So I bought one of those inflatable movie screens and a projector. And, we usually hire like the corn dog on a stick truck or a taco guy or whatever. And we just invite all our clients, all their kids. So while the sun's still up, they can go play at the playground, they'll eat. And as we get to dusk, we'll throw the movie on. Everyone brings lawn chairs. Some people bring their coolers of beverages, and we sit down and we just enjoy a movie together, right? We have a popcorn machine, things like that, candies for the kids. So that's a great springtime idea, right? Where we can invite everybody. And so using the Buffini terminology, right? We invite that's the one we essentially invite all our A+, A's, B's, and C's. We invite everybody to that one. We usually get 200-ish people come out to that.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
And everybody looks forward to it if you're doing it annually, right? They're like, when are we doing it?
It's, again, it goes to, one of the benefits of being on the team. That's something that, I'll take care of for our clients and for our team members. So it's just, another added benefit or value prop for them.
Yep.
And then I'll do a couple smaller A+ type events. So like, I won in a charity auction, I won a wine tasting for 20. So, we'll invite all our A+ clients to that, right? At Total Wine, for example. We'll do happy hours for our vendors, right? So, hey, we're not here asking you guys for referrals. We just want to thank you for taking great care of our people. And because if we're up taking care of our folks, right, they're going to continue to refer us, right? If that whole process is seamless and smooth, they're going to take everything and look at it as one. And so we do.
Well, that's different. Everybody is always asking the vendors to do something for you.
That's right.
You do something for them. And I love that idea.
And they always ask us when we do like the movie in the night park, we do a charity aspect to it. We always do there's a group we work with here in Las Vegas called Cup of Hope. And they help work with the homeless folks, like right downtown. They have an RV where they can shower, they have clothing, they, do food drives and food delivery, things like that. And so these vendors are like, we do if people bring an item to our client party, we'll give them a raffle ticket. The vendors are the first ones to ask us, hey, can I give you a gift basket? Can a gift card for your raffle? So, that they're great for that. So it's amazing. And then in the fall, we do like a wine walk, right? So we used to partner with New Vista, which is an organization in town. But just during COVID, they stopped doing those, outdoor wine walks. And so I was like, well, heck, we just, we're blessed with a new home and we have a third of an acre yard. So I'm like, we're just going to do a wine walk in my backyard. So we just got some stations around the backyard, a couple different wines. And awesome. People come over. One of our clients is a chef, so she does.
Oh, that's awesome.
Boards and pizzas and all sorts of stuff, and we have food and a bunch of different wines, and people just hang out in my backyard.
What's the key here is fun. You're having fun.
No kidding.
And you're giving back, but you're having fun, man. It's not work. That's what I'm sensing.
So those are my SOI. Those are my biggest and best.
I'm just doing it straight up. That's what you do.
Yeah.
There it is. All right. So now this question is, do you do anything other than what you're talking about? So we always have people who have business by referral. So is there anything else that you would share, even in the past, or something you might be thinking about that would be a new tactic for business?
Well, so I'm a big believer in networking as well, right? So and being involved with the Las Vegas Realtor Association, I do get the opportunity to travel to, different conferences, right? So I do the NAR mid-year, the political conference. I go to the NAR every year. And my coach challenged me to this year, and I've always done it, but I've never focused on it, was give and receive referrals from other agents, right? So I'm already at 6 this year, which is shocking to me. Like I'm like 6 inbound or outbound referrals. Right. So as people leave Las Vegas, where are they going? Like, so you got to research what are the markets that people are moving to and build relationships over in those markets. Right. And then where are people coming from and build relationships in those markets. And so, I think it's really networking. I know when I was brand new in real estate, I'm like, why the heck would I want to talk to my competition? They're not.
That's a great idea. Yeah. So it's your agent network, and I love it. And since you travel, it's key. Are you doing anything intentionally around that, Azim, where you just like your database, you stay in touch with those agents to let them know that they can refer and vice versa? Is there anything you do?
So every quarter, I send a quarterly newsletter to about 150 agents, just with Las Vegas market stats, rental stats, and investment focused things, and then a little just paragraph and blurb. And I print 250 of the same thing. But then what I'll do is also take a little Post-it and be like, oh, hey, Jan, missed seeing you, in Anaheim, in DC or whatever. So I'll put generally a little handwritten Post-it note inside each of those as well before I send them.
That is just going to grow for you, Azim. That is agent network is something I've been coaching people forever. And all you have to do is have a simple way to stay in touch and share one of our favorite coaches that we've worked with, David Squire, has this process. He does the same thing, and he does the same thing. He does quarterly. What's working for us. Mm-hmm. So besides talking about what the network is, this is just something to add to it, because I think you'll get even more from it. It's people want to know, like, here's information about the market here, but what you could do is say, here's the thing we did in the last quarter to the other agents that got us the most business this year, or here's something we did with our sphere. Now you're kind of coaching other agents, and they even see more value with you. It's just an idea to add to that level of quarterly. You know what I mean? So. Cool. All right. Next question.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your answer on this one. I like this question. Everyone has an issue sometimes, and they have ways to overcome it. Is there anything that holds you back? And if you get held back, what is that? And how do you get out of that?
So I'll be honest, like sometimes discipline, right? It's, I love Shark Tank, and, it's one of my favorite shows. I just love to hear, some of the business tips and tricks and, feedback that the sharks give. And Mark Cuban once said, he's like, it's hard to be successful, right? It's hard to get up at 5:30, right? It's hard to go to the gym at that time. It's hard to have quiet journaling time, right? It's hard to make the calls, the tough calls. And, it's hard, right? I mean, it's, if making money was easy and work, being successful is easy, everybody would be doing it, right? So I would definitely say it's lack of discipline sometimes, right? And I went through a tough time. Both my parents passed in the last couple of years. And now that I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, I was definitely depressed, right? There was a bout of depression. And so, working through that. And so now I catch myself if I fall into a bit of a rut, like, thinking about things, and and then that carries over to trying to worry about things that are out of my control, right? So I can control my attitude, I can control my effort, I can control my actions, but outside of that, right, you got to let it go, and you can't tie the process to the outcome.
And you're so right that can really, it can be a silent thing that's hanging over your head for a while. So it's really about self-awareness, right? If you can stay aware of what's going on inside your head, which is hard to do.
It is.
You can take action when you're ready. That's
exactly.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. It's very vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, authenticity is hugely important.
Okay. All right. And we've got, so this one is just about do you have anything that has inspired you? It could be a person, a book, a system. I mean, obviously Brian Buffini's system is probably one of the big ones, but what else would you want to share that could inspire other people?
So my favorite book is Jim Collins' Good to Great.
I know that one.
Absolutely love it. And, if you haven't read it, spoiler alert, the whole premise of it is the most successful companies, the companies that do better above, that do greater than other companies in the same industry, they're led by humble leaders, right? Humility is hugely important. And you give an example, like what happened if Elon Musk tomorrow gets hit by a bus, right? Like what's going to happen to Tesla, right? Or like if you're around in the 80s, Lee Iacocca with Chrysler, right? He did so great with Chrysler. And then the moment Iacocca left, like Chrysler, they're barely around anymore, right? They're part of Fiat or something now. I don't even know, like literally don't even know what's happened to them. But the companies that have humble leadership has continued to grow and be successful. And they have some weird examples like steel companies and CVS. But when you look at the stock reports and their health, they're far and above everyone else. And nobody knows who those CEOs are. Like you have no idea, but on Fox News or MSNBC or whatever you watch, right? They're just doing the job, raising leaders behind them and loving people. So Good to Great, been phenomenal for me. I listen to a lot of economics podcasts. I'm a kind of a nerd. I'm an athlete, right? So I love that kind of stuff. And then I get a little break listening to some hockey podcasts. So not really,
right.
I love.
Are you a Canuck fan?
Yeah,
I was a Canuck fan growing up.
Of course, but you got to be a Vegas. But you got to go. Like I'm a Boston fan because I grew up with Boston. So I'm kind of excited about how well they're doing, to be honest.
Amazing.
But you know what? I got to say, you are the level 5 leader. There it is, and that's what's in that book, right? Matt and I know this book real well, and the thing that you just said is so. I've got goosebumps talking to you about this because it's rare to find somebody like you. Because the level 5 leadership thing, if you remember, in the book says, great leaders look in the mirror when things don't go right, and they look outside to everyone around them when they go great, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is who you are. I know that, and I can see that, and you live your life that way, which is brilliant.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Wow. Level 5 leader, here he is. Go, Matt.
I know you really don't find those very often. That is for sure.
That's true.
And then the last question we have really is just about what advice you would give to agents out there to help them, thrive and really succeed this year, but really into the future of their real estate careers and past that, really.
Yeah, I think it's definitely just continue to invest in those relationships, right? Love people. And real estate happens generally during hard times in people's lives or changes in people's lives, right? Like, people are getting married, getting divorced, having kids, kids moving out, right? Job relocations, things like that. Like, there's not too often people wake up on a Thursday and be like, I want to buy a house this weekend, right? There's generally a life event happening, something's, causing them to move, or need new accommodations, right? And so, just really be involved in people's lives, love on them, know what's happening. And, when that happens, they're going to come to you, right? Because they trust you, right? You want to be that trusted advisor. If you've ever read Ninja Selling, I'm sure you guys have, but, for folks listening, Ninja Selling ties a lot into Buffini, and they have something called Forward Calls, right? So which stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, right? So if those are the 4 things you can learn about your clients and your friends, right? How's their family doing, right? What are their kids up to? What is, how's their occupation? What's happening at work, right? What have you done for fun? So recreation. And then, man, if you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do? Like, what's your dream? Like, what are you dreaming about in the next 5 years? And if you can learn about those things, like, you're going to have a client for life, but also just an amazing relationship and a new friend. So
beautiful.
Wow.
Thank you for coming on and inspiring, got me fired up here today, Azim. I'm excited. I know you got a lot to do. We appreciate your time.
Every time I talk about these things, once a quarter-ish, someone asks me to, speak to something like this.
Yeah.
And every time I do it, it fires me up. Like Dave Coker had us speak, me and a couple other people speak in January. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm actually kind of good at this. Like I forgot, because you do get in a rut. Like you do sometimes tie the results to your effort, to who you are. And that's not necessarily the case, right? Like the market's crud. There's nothing you can do about that. But don't tie that to you. And that was a reminder for me. So thank you.
Find the opportunities. There's tons of opportunities right now. You just have to be able to explain those, right? And you can always go back to how you got your start, my friend. You can get through anything if you can get through that time in the short sale time.
It's so funny, like attracts like, and I can only imagine what your client in SOI must be like, because they must be a really great group of people. Because like I said, that positivity that jumps out at you is amazing. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
it's wow. Well, we appreciate you, and go out and continue to do great things. It's wonderful to know you and to be kind of working side by side with you in our company and so forth, Azim. But I'm telling you, it's exciting stuff, and sky's the limit. Whatever you want to accomplish, and stay balanced and have fun, and keep me posted on what's going on with all the legislature stuff. You're doing all that hard work.
You see me head down in a pile of paperwork, you know what I'm doing. So just come on.
All right, it's all good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, that was an awesome Ask Five. I'm looking forward to our match. We're going to do a 6-month mashup of all of our interviews, and have all of the questions individually out there. And I'm looking forward to, I swear to God, I can't get off this. You just radiate. It's really, really, very cool. So we might have to do just a special Azim only separate.
You like Azim.
We don't want you to make everyone else look bad. I'm just kidding, everyone else.
Real estate doesn't work out. Maybe I'll start in motivation.
You're already on track to doing that. That's what you do. You're going to be this coach consultant down the road. So it's all good.
All right, everyone. Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. You can find all of the show notes and more information about Azim and a way to contact him if you ever want to contact him and his team. And
get on his agent network list.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Over at WBNLpodcast.com, episode 230. Jan, any last words you have? What do we have coming up next week?
That's it. I'm fired up. I got to get out and go do some business today. Let's go.
I'm not even selling real estate right now, and I think I'm going to go out and prospect. Anyway, all right, everyone. Wow.
All right, good stuff.
Get up, get out, live the life you dreamed, and be forever wandering, but not lost.
Awesome.